Frosty the Snowman is a tale everybody knows. They all sing about how he shows up, but none of how he goes. He made a vague reference about how he'd melt away, and everybody knows when unchapeaued he froze and stayed that way. What's not been told is that his soul within the snow remained. Conscious he just couldn't move, but he could still feel pain. Each time Frosty came back, he remembered his past lives. As his knowledge grew, so did too the variety of his demise. Melting wasn't that bad, by far the easiest way to take. The worst was how the giant snowplow turned him back into constituent flakes. He'd been decapitated, cracked in half, and once blown up. And when the dogs all peed on him, he said, "Enough's enough!" Frosty's plan was simple. Soon as the hat recalled his mind, he'd distract the brats, beat northward tracks, and head for the nearest snow line. In his permafrost exile, Frosty didn't waste an hour. Time not spent planning his revenge was used building up his winter powers. He could increase his size by absorbing the nearby snow. He could turn himself to ice, alter his shape to and fro. But his greatest power, the one that's scariest alone, was at a certain mass he could split in half, and as Frosty meet your clone. He'd built a frozen army all across the Arctic range. Then as quick as that, no more ice cap, and you thought it was climate change. Controlled by Frosty's mind, telepathic orders were sent. Numbering 10,000 strong, southward his forces went. Frosty's invasion would begin in the little town, where the snot-nosed brat would bring out the hat and make Frosty his ass clown. His army double-timed it all the way to Lake Huron shore. It took a week, 'cause they had to sneak. They were lucky that it didn't take more. Officials that had seen the troops did not know what to say. Whether flash mob, protest, or parade, best to let them on their way. The town was barricaded by a wall 10 snowmen thick. Plows were tried, entry denied, nothing seemed to do the trick. The people all were herded to the Sound Central Square. "Bring me the child," Frosty said, eyes wild. His revenge would start then and there. Or would have had he understood the words upon the sign. On his way into the town that read world's largest salt mine. Then Frosty felt a pinprick, a dot of pain inside his head. He was sure he'd felt it before, and the certainty filled him with dread. It felt like each of Frosty's passings, every time he died before. He'd feel the darkness creep in, his mind grow dim, and then he'd know no more. The cause of Frosty's growing pain, unforeseen detail missed, was upon contact with rock salt, his clones were turned to mist. With each clone death the pain increased, dropping Frosty to his hands and knees. And as chaos enhanced, a boy saw his chance and snatched the hat quick as you please. A hush fell over the town square, waiting for what's after that. Then Frosty's vision uncurled, and when he could form words, he mentally screamed, "Get the hat!" Down about a third, his forces surged, a single goal in mind. Ignore all else, retrieve the hat so that Frosty could unbind. The boy was a quick runner, but Frosty thought he'd seen a mistake. Instead of running to the woods like you'd think he should, the boy ran right for the lake. Frosty watched his forces, still in the thousands, all march by. The flow would slow, then there were none to go, his pain increasing all the while. He tried to view through his clone's eyes the progress of the chase. Turned at the shore, caught a glimpse no more of the hat, then the sight erased. The town folks trailed the snowmen, they were curious as hell. There was nothing else to do that Friday night, so they figured might as well. The snowmen let them bundle up before stealing them all. They flexed their snowy might, but they were polite. It was Canada after all. That left poor prone Frosty alone, immobile on all fours. Maybe the wind would bring back his hat, hey, it happened once before. Then to Frosty's amazement, he saw the hat cresting the hill. And as it drew near, he forgot his fear until he saw who was under the bill. The face that held that creepy-ass grin Frosty instantly recognized as the source of his torment by the devil sent, the most unholiest man-child. His name was Timmy, but you probably already guessed. Like Ponteg's rook, he had the look of somebody with whom Frosty had messed. Timmy walked up to Frosty, squatted down to look him in the eyes. He said, "Hey, old friend, good to see you again. This time you gave us quite a surprise." Timmy'd studied the magic of the hat for many a year. It kept him young, if not well hung. It was a trade-off that he could bear. Though immobilized, fear ran through Frosty's eyes as Timmy talked to Frosty's depths. When he heard bomb, his mind went numb as he recalled the previous experience. Last one was an AM-80. Timmy softly spoke each word. "So let's up our rhyme, try a pineapple this time. It's twice as big if you haven't heard." Timmy stole behind to install the explosive suppository, and as advertised, it was twice the size, Frosty reliving painful memories. As the fuse was lit, Frosty tried to shit the bomb to no avail. Lacking internal organs, it was his destiny to fail. Timmy kept on watching, his creepy grin growing without ebb. Then with 1 second left, he flicked his wrist and tossed the hat back on Frosty's head. The timing was perfect. Timmy had a front row seat to see Frosty reanimate, his face fill with hate, and then atomize from the heat. Timmy caught the hat, making sure that it didn't touch the snow. Frosty's chances of escape were thinner than a crepe, but best be safe 'cause you never know. Timmy brought the hat home, where he kept it under lock and key. In a special case, moisture it would erase, kept at a comfortable 23 Celsius. Next he updated his files, finished and closed case 161. Clicked save, then new, started 162, and now a story is finally done. Hello? Hi. Yeah, what do you mean? I just finished it. But, what do you... No. Yeah, but I... But you... Yes. No. Those who insist on details missed must hear rest of the song. Okay, message sent, you gluttons for punishment. I mean, the thing's already 10 minutes long. Timmy'd run toward the shoreline, just as Frosty had viewed. Into the fire from the pan if his contingency plan didn't work, then they were screwed. As he turned the corner, his creepy-ass grin grew wide. He saw the 4 standing trucks that had backed up to block the road from side to side. He dodged between middle machines, dropping the hat before. About 1.5 meters, that's okay, the truck's reach was 4. Timmy raised his arms up as he stood before the line. 4 engines roared to life, turned on their back spotlights, then awaited their next sign. The view between the trucks was tight, but Timmy could see just fine. There lay the hat, and beyond that, the intersection 30 feet, 10 meters behind. Then a rumble grew into a roar after a moment's pause. Though eager in their flight, the snowmen stopped at the light. There's a reason for traffic laws. As the mob turned the corner, Timmy raised his other arm. And then as one, the broadcasters spun, anticipating snowy harm. The snowmen saw the top hat, charged it could not be stopped. A true avalanche, but they stood no chance because Timmy's arms had dropped. The salt that flowed through the machines was the finest in the land, disrupting magic with a touch, so not part of Frosty's plan. The lead snowman was nearly at his goal when the salt began to fly. He had no clue, gone in a puff of dew, not a pop, more of a sigh. Those caught in range were instantly slain, leaving foggy residue. But a weirder sight, to Timmy's delight, was the replacements coming through. 1 second there and next there, not thousands of times replayed. Saw the hat through the mist and by a crystal kissed, dispatched without delay. Timmy came around the trucks, intent on a different view. From the front was a gas, the side a laugh, as the snowmen got their due. The scene was quite surreal, opposites juxtaposed. Unstoppable engine to fog in the wind, Frosty's fatal flaw exposed. You'd think with all those snowmen it'd be the foggiest day they'd had. But every minute or two the light cycled through, so it never really got that bad. The seemingly endless supply of snowmen soon ran out. After the terrible din, the only sound was the spin of broadcasters powering down. After securing the top hat, Timmy spoke to the man in the truck. An envelope was passed and help was asked about the crowd Timmy's trying to duck. A path was shown, cover not blown, to emerge behind the crowd. No one was there to see him head for the square. Now can I go, for crying out loud? Oh, God. Hello? Oh, come on. No. No. But, you... Yes. No. Always read what you sign. For those with no imagination, let me take you by the hand. Explain the mysteries of which I count 3, and then this song will end. The first 2 have the same answer, dealing with the snowman loss. Frosty's pain deferred, and the missing 3rd brought about by the same force. The good folk at the Sifto mines, remember them next door, were quick in their reply to set the salt to fly, answering a text that Timmy'd sent before. Working their way inward, they'd cleared nearly half the streets, when in unison the snowmen all turned to run, get the hat or their dead meat. The miners' task completed, were unsure just how to act. Should they be homeward bound, but they stuck around 20 minutes in case they came back. Now everything is known save the mystery of Timmy. That tale's too long, it's a whole other song, as yet unwritten, so we'll have to see. Here ends the Frosty Saga. Apologies to all around. I don't mean to weep, but I could sleep for a week. This thing's run me to the ground. For those of you that stayed to the end, here's a tidbit left unsaid. What was the source of the knowledge of Frosty's powers? Sometimes Timmy kept the head.